Okay, joining us now, fellow Florida Congressman, Republican Byron Donalds. Welcome back. And let me just start there and give you a chance to respond. He says, if you care about a right to choose, if you care about contraception, which, by the way, President Trump has said he does not want to touch contraception, but all these other, questions and arguments, Congressman Moskowitz says, if you care about those things, you cannot vote for your party.
Well, first of all, my colleagues are simply wrong. What Donald Trump did when he was president of the United States, he did change the Supreme Court. They did overturn Roe v. Wade, which was the right decision, but it is now left to the states. And so President Trump has been asked this question multiple times. He does not want to weigh in from the federal level. He wants the states to make this decision for themselves because every state is different. Every group of citizens in each state, they have different philosophies. And when it comes to something as personal as abortion, at this point, the president's position is the philosophies of people in the states needs to be what governs, not federal law, definitely not the Supreme Court. Obviously, with contraception, that's just simply not true. President Trump doesn't want to do anything on contraception. He wants to be able to have people, he wants people to be able to take advantage of that and use that in their personal lives.
Okay, we talked about the border a little bit. Congressman Moskowitz touched on this and said, listen, both parties take blame for not getting something done. There was a bill offered up this week in the Senate. Just about everybody admitted it was kind of a show. It was not really going to go anywhere. But it provides this talking point for President Biden saying congressional Republicans do not care about securing the border or fixing America's broken immigration system. He says you would have voted for it if you did. He said they put partisan politics ahead of our country's national security. Now, Republicans under President Trump did control the White House, House, and Senate. If you guys run the table and all of those things align again, what promises or plans can you offer to the American people about Republicans fixing the border?
Well, a couple of things. First, Donald Trump had this border secured when he was president of the United States. When Joe Biden came in, the first thing he did was rip up Trump's border policies simply because they were put in place by Donald Trump. It was a very stupid decision by Joe Biden. The country has suffered as a result. So now what we're going to do is go back to ending catch and release, go back to remain in Mexico. We are going to have to deport millions of people who should not be here because our cities and states simply cannot handle the flow of all these illegal migrants. Now you got people who are Jordanians trying to breach Quantico under Joe Biden. You saw what happened on the southern border in California the other day where they're trying to scale the wall in California, get over that wall there. So what President Trump is going to do is put back the policies that actually had our country secure. We are going to deport millions of people. It needs to be done. And then in Congress, a policy like H.R. 2, if we have the votes in the House and in the Senate, we're going to move large parts of that to become federal law, which gives the president more authorities to secure the nation.
Okay, we will wait and see. Obviously, the results of November have everything to do with those plans. But let's talk about this. President Trump is taking his argument to some non-traditional places this week. You were part of his trip into the Bronx. And he has got, people who love that idea, people who hate that idea. But you were there with him on stage. It reignited a conversation you and I have had previously on this show about race and about critics who say Republicans are using, quote, black and brown people. There is one news personality out there who says you're being used as a prop. Here's Joy Reid.
The one black guy that Republicans love to roll out as fake proof that black people, the blacks, are just MAGA. They're MAGA. It's a joke, and just as credible as when they pretended they were going to make that guy Speaker of the House, because they weren't going to do that either.
Okay, so how do you view that statement? Is it that her own personal beliefs and experiences are such that she cannot fathom that black Americans would find a home in the GOP? Do you think she's making more of a statement about Republicans or about you?
First of all, I find Joy's comments to be nothing more than crabs in a barrel. Just because I have a different viewpoint, different way of looking at the world, different politics, now all of a sudden I'm being used. You can make an argument that MSNBC is using her, but I'm going to move on.
Congressman Byron Donalds, you folks out there at home have heard both sides of the argument. Congressman, we thank you for yours, and we'll see you again soon.